I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm so excited to listen to the rest of the episode.
For your new YouTube videos, keep doing what you're doing.
Also, your voice is so relaxing.
Great topics, amazing delivery.
You are an inspiration always.
Thank you for putting your gifts
Never stop.
into the world.
I'm here to give you the keys, not just to survive, but to thrive. Grab your pens, grab your notebooks. Let's go. Hey guys, thanks for joining us again. Super excited to see you and hear you enjoying another episode. So, the fun thing today that we're going to be talking about is a topic that's slightly touchy, but you know how it is. Grab your notebooks, grab your pens. You don't want to miss this because your mind will be blasted. We're talking about toxic masculinity. And for this topic, I have an amazing guest. His name is Stephen.
Stephen K. What's going on?
Thanks for joining me today.
It's a
Appreciate
pleasure.
you. Glad to have you. I'm going to start off by asking some interrogation style questions. Clear his throat. First things first, who the heck are you and how much water did you drink yesterday?
I'm a director, filmmaker, photographer, and writer from Vancouver, BC, coming from the East Coast, DRC genetics, you know what I'm saying, which is Democratic Republic of Congo, and lover of anime and all things sci-fi.
Nice. Okay.
And yes, I drank some water.
How
yesterday.
much did you drink?
A couple liters. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, okay,
like,
okay.
Like 30,
I accept.
40.
Okay. I accept that. That's a good amount.
That's a lot.
That's a good amount. You're not dehydrated
Nah,
at all.
not even close.
That's good. Okay. What's your favorite smell?
I like peaches, actually.
Oh, okay.
Peach smells and mango.
Yum.
Smell. Yeah.
Yum. Good choice. Peaches are great. So, what are you known for?
Besides movie quotes, I'm known for. I think I'm just known for just being creative. That's it. You know, just the artsy kid.
Okay.
You know, always doing something.
That's actually a good thing to be known for. That'd be nice if I was known for creativity.
You're known for things. You got things.
I'm a talkative type. Touche. What's your sign?
I'm a Cancer.
Okay.
Yeah. Something moon rising. I don't know.
Very nice.
About Cancer.
Yeah. There's a lot back there when you get into the moon rising and all
Yeah,
these
I just know what. You know what? At one point, I was obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Because I was curious about Cancer. I'm like, yeah, this is me. This is me. And then I got deeper into it. I'm like, oh, I'm like I went to the Chinese zodiac and I was like, oh, I'm a Cancer, fire tiger.
Okay.
But I'm just like, I gotta chill now.
Wow.
Yeah, we've done
We've
enough.
gone too far.
We've gone enough.
You're a crab. You're also a tiger.
I gotta chill now. That was too much. I was like, all right.
Just filling the shoes
And
enough.
I would drop that like, yeah, you know, about like, you know, zodiac. If you go a little deeper, I'm like a fire tiger. You know, I'm like,
People give you the look and
yeah,
stuff.
like, oh, that's great. You know? So I was like, yeah, I'm good. That's enough of that.
Well, it's good. At least you know. Some people don't. So, what's one thing that you're most proud of?
What am I proud of? There's a few
Stumped
things.
him.
There's a few things.
him.
I think I'm just proud of being an uncle. You know, I'm always like, you know, I have my nieces and nephews that you know that I love and admire, and they throw that back to me, and they teach me how to love. You know, because I don't know how to give. I know how to. No, it's not. I don't know how to give. I don't know how to.
I was
take
going to
love.
say.
But they always teach
You
me how
don't
to
self-deprecate here.
No. But they always teach me how to take in love, because they're so appreciative of me, and that's always like a reminder, like, okay, you're still good. You know, the people love you.
Yeah.
Relax. This is how love looks like. So it's
That's sweet.
I'm proud of being like an uncle and having like those kids who are like so emotionally aware and intelligent. So that's like one of my proud things for me.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Shout out to the nieces and nephew of Stephen. That's a good thing to be proud of. Now, it's an emergency. You're running out of blood. What's your blood type?
Oh, negative.
Tick
I'm a universal donor, so it's like so O negative, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
You're
O
still alive. That's good.
I'm out there. Whoever needs it, I got you.
Yeah, he can donate, but he can't take.
I can't. Is that crazy?
Yeah, you just said it. You just said it. It's a little ironic.
I'm a giver.
Yeah.
I'm a giver.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's your lucky number? If you're a giver, when do you gain? When do you see luck?
7.
7?
7's always been my lucky number. I never wore it for like let's say when I played basketball, I never wore the number 7, but it was just the number 7 was always something that's like, that's my number. It looks bad on jerseys, except for like John Elway.
Oh, okay.
But for basketball, wearing number 7 is so awkward.
Okay.
It's an awkward number in a basketball jersey.
So what do you wear on your basketball jersey then?
I'll go like 21 or 35, or maybe like, that's really, I think those are my 2 numbers I'll go for.
But then what about the luck?
Well, it's not even the luck, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's more just, I know 7's my number. So I don't really need to wear it. I just know it's my number.
Okay.
That's it.
I see that. It's in here.
It's in here, you know what I'm saying? It's always, if you got it, you got it, you know?
Okay. And what's your shoe size?
I'm a 12 and a half.
All right. So what the heck are you doing here today in this place and in this world?
We're here to talk about toxic masculinity and the spectrums of it, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. So the first thing I'm going to say is the definition of masculinity is just the qualities and attributes regarded as characteristics of men.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it begins to get toxic is if it's harmful to society and men themselves. Masculinity becomes toxic when adherence to traditional male gender roles that consequently stigmatize and limit the emotions of boys and men may comfortably express, elevated like emotions that are anger and aggression are suppressed. And so pretty much when we tell guys that they can't be sad, or a lot of times they're forced to be strong even through grieving of lost family members, friends, loss in general. But even in scenarios where they're hurt, they're told to walk it off or, take a shot, whatever the case may be. And so that being said, I kind of wanted you to potentially give us a couple of examples, if you've ever experienced it, by asking you, what's something you've noticed people guess from your appearance that may not be true?
You know what's funny? I think because of like my size, they'll assume like, oh, this guy's like, he's just like, he's thoroughbred, he's hardcore. Or I have a resting a resting face. I'm very kind of just like my face when I rest, I'm very kind of just like it looks kind of serious,
Yeah.
But like that's not really it. I'm very I'm mad sensitive, even though like I'm very mellow and very kind of keep my energy very just like good heart rate, steady heart rate.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I'm mad sensitive, I'm very sensitive, and I'm like a very emotional person, things affect me.
Yeah.
But, as you get older, and especially like growing up, you learn, like as a kid, like it was a lot for me because I didn't understand why I was so sensitive. I didn't understand why everything felt so loud.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to
Big
describe
feelings.
it. Yeah, big feelings. You understand why everything, if this person says something, why does it feel so like, it's like the end of the world for me?
Yeah.
So as you get older, you kind of like, you value yourself, a little therapy, a little self-analysis, and then you kind of become mellow. And I'm kind of just mellow, still
Not
sensitive.
Like a tough guy the way it looks.
I'm not even, there's nothing like, I think tough is more in the sense of like, it's funny, when you talk about the tough stuff.
Yeah.
I remember growing up and I'm watching I was watching this thing about I think it was something about Brian McKnight. It's funny. Brian McKnight, the R&B singer that we all love, we know him. You look a dream, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a moment where, I think he was mad about something. He was angry about something. And then, but people were questioning his toughness because he was mad about something. Like he was going to do something. It's like, oh, he's just an R&B singer. But I'm like,
okay.
no, he's a man. He can throw hands. Like, what does this mean? You sing R&B doesn't mean I can't throw you through a wall.
Exactly.
And that's why I never understood why we would just like, because he sang beautiful R&B music, you know, and then like he wouldn't be able to like put hands on
anger,
you.
yeah.
And I was just like, I just never, and I was like, I just didn't understand that as a kid. Like, why is that like he's soft because he sings?
Doesn't add up.
You know, but then he sings and gets all the girls. So I don't like it doesn't make sense.
Nah.
Make it math.
Make it make sense. The math ain't mathing.
The math ain't mathing over here.
It's not clicking, Steve. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was forced. So can I ask you then what your first memory or any memory that you may have of where you had to kind of like hold in those big feelings and where you, I guess, maybe became aware that you had big feelings? Because I know that when it comes to certain physical appearances, you know, and people potentially seeing you as a tough guy, or even so far as, you know, potentially seeing you as a threat, like you wouldn't necessarily want to just act on, for example, anger or whatever. So I'm sure at some points you've had to be like, you know, I don't know, stop yourself from doing something that you felt like doing. But
yeah.
Could you give us one of those memories? I'd love to hear
like
one.
multiple times. It's a lot, you know. It's like it's not just because like you're a man, but also you're a black man or a black kid, you know. So it's just like there's like, I remember even work situations where it's like if I got a little antsy, like, yo, you know, like, and they notice that, they get nervous, you know, like, oh, Steve's about to move some furniture, you know, or like, I'm frustrated. I'm a little frustrated. Might not be, why does my frustration have to turn to violence?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that was one of the main, like, there's that, and there's like, I think even like what was it? There was like there's I think back in the day it was like even for me, like even approaching women sometimes, you know, at nights. You know, I'd be like, "Oh, hey, not a threat. Just, I thought you were cute. What's going?" You know, I was like, I'm not a threat.
just want to
say hi. You know, I'm like, sorry about that. You know, and it was just like weird.
Almost like apologizing.
Yeah, what about to apologize for that stuff? And then, it just you know, funerals. You know, I've been through a lot of funerals, and then it's always been like, and I just, you know, just, and then because like it hurts, you know, I had somebody I love, I lost them. Yeah. I'll never see them again. But for some reason, I even had the guys like, yo, hold together, Steve, hold together. I'm like, you can't tell me to hold together. My man's in a coffin. You know, how am I, you can't just be like,
that's insensitive.
Hold it down. Hold it like hold what? My man's in the box.
Yeah.
I'm
never
like,
to be seen
I'm
again.
done, bro.
Like, are you understanding
you know,
this?
These tears, I'll be crying this for the next like month or so, you know? So I'm gonna have to
let's let a bit of them out now.
I'm gonna let them out down before throw somebody through a wall, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was like there was a lot, like especially because I cry. I'm out there, you know, even like dating wise, where it's like, you know, like you just keep getting tested for some reason because you want to and I'm just like, no, I don't want to, oh, you're soft, you know?
Tested like, like if you're dating somebody, they try to get you upset.
Yeah, just to test me, you know? I've been there. I've been there.
That is toxic.
I've been there, and I'm just
and there's like underlying toxic femininity in that.
Oh, for real.
Because why do you have to test somebody to see whether or not they're going to get aggressive with you? And that's your like beacon of like, okay, that's a man now.
For me, it was like, like I just want somebody put me in my place. I'm like, you have a father, fam. you have a whole father over here. Your dad's right there. I'm not here. I didn't sign up to be a father.
Yeah,
you know, like God. I'm like, so it was stuff like that I was seeing. I was like, yo, what? And you feel defensive. That's how you get men defensive, and you get that shield over you. And then you start walking stone faced around because you're like, nah.
I'm not trying to have any problems.
Nah, because I don't want you comments on my on me having moments of vulnerability and then using that against me. I don't want you to.
It's like ammo.
Yeah. It's like don't give them the bullets for the gun to shoot you with. You know. Wow. So that's what I'm always like. That's something I learned from my mom's. She always telling me, like, don't give them the bullets. You know.
That's crazy. So
it's like you have to. Like as men, we have to like walk, and the thing is, a lot of men growing up go through this. You know, they don't say it, but they go through it, and then they have
but
to.
even just thinking that vulnerability is the bullets is like,
Yeah, it's considered like any form of weakness is like it'll be seen as like, oh, we can use that against them. You know, we can use that to like characterize them for like forever. You know, so it's like you can't if you get too emotional, if you get pushed, and then you react. Oh, he's crazy.
yeah,
And it's just like, real man wouldn't. I'm like, yo, man, I'm a human being first, fam.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I can't be this like Clark Kent who wants to, who's like I could easily just crush this whole place. I could move this whole place, but I'm chilling right now. You know?
yeah.
So it's just like, it's one of those things. But I think a lot of men go through that. A lot of men go, and even the OGs
common than not.
more common. It's like, it's like if you actually interview like a majority of men, they'd be like, yeah, I had to learn to like navigate that part of my life to kind of become who I am.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Wow. Well, thanks for answering that, because I'm sure there's a lot of stigmatism people put on just appearance alone, whether or not it is your gender or your size or your race. And so like breaking those stigmatisms and like actually allowing people to have a more open mind to not read a book by its cover or judge a book by its cover is the thing that's going to open up our minds to embracing more and more diversities of people, because we are all people at the end of the day. Of course. So I wanted to kind of touch on something that I want to go into more depth, but you're going to catch me on other episodes. You know how it is. Feel free to hit the like button, help me beat the algorithm, subscribe. I want to touch on glorifying struggle in the Black male community, because it is something that happens. And just to break it down like Webster style, it's pretty much when you're coming from a place of, riches or fame or financial abundance, and people look down on you for not being tough because you didn't come from the hood and you didn't have to have tough skin or go through all of these adversities. And so it's twisted and ironic because it makes you seem like less than because you didn't have to face certain struggles, but at the same point, like at the same time, we are what we are because we meet in the middle. There's people who come from tough backgrounds who really have a big dream, and they have people to fund them that believe in them and are inspired by them. And it's where those two worlds meet that we actually find change. And so I wanted to talk about glorifying the struggle because that's what I feel like it is. It's ironic. It's a little crazy.
Yeah.
There's a video that went viral about this guy talking about how much money he comes from and feeling like people judge him because of it. And what are your thoughts on glorifying the struggle in the Black male community?
I think it's a twofold. It's a twofold answer, or question. A twofold answer in the sense of like, because you have to look at also the history and where it's coming from. So let's say the Black elites, in North America, I can't remember, I can't give you the exact time frame, but they were kind of the skilled Black workers that were taken, and moved up by the whites, into like certain positions, and then they grew and kind of built their own. They were able to kind of build their own kind of level of success, which created a sort of division between them and the other Blacks. So you had the Black elites. So now it's like them and us, and that's
where the them and us kind of stems
exactly, and it's always been like a them and us thing. So and it's always been, and that's politically, it's always been the weapon, the most popular weapon used. Even now in this era, it's so them and us right now that
to this day,
to the smallest, to even movie, it's Marvel fans versus DC fans, it's Snyder fans versus and it's just it gets kind of ridiculous. But to answer the question about like the Black, like the what do you call it? What's the question? What's the
glorifying struggle?
Yeah, glorifying struggle. So I grew up I was born in the Congo. You know, my dad was a diplomat. You know, my mom was a history professor.
Mm.
You know, my sisters were all, you know, top students in their classes. This, you know, this and that. And dad's from poverty. Never spoke of poverty. Never spoke of where where he came from. Never even like wants to even like entertain that past. He just knows that it keeps him humble.
Yeah.
Saying that this is where I'm from.
Yeah.
So I worked this hard, so you never have to look at that situation.
Yeah.
You know, if you ever go back there, that's me failing as a parent.
Wow.
You know, so that was always his way of like, you know, like trying to teach me.
Yeah.
And so
keep me grounded.
Because it's like, I don't want you to go back to, you know, that's not cool. That's not a cool place to be. But then you come to the States, you know, or you know, come to Canada, North America, and then you see like, you know, the rappers, you know, we glorify the, you know, I grew up, you know, listening to like the 90s and 2000 raps where you glorify the drug dealer.
Yeah.
You glorify, you know, like the rugged, you know, like just like the hardcore
guns and the girls and the gangs. And
it's all stuff. And I seriously think, but I understand the culture, you know, Wu-Tang, all that stuff. I understood the culture. You know, it was a street element culture I understood.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, of all the rappers, my favorite rapper growing up was like MC Hammer. My first, then it was Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
Puff Daddy for me was like amazing.
Yeah.
When the first image I had of Puff Daddy was him in a Bentley with his like silk shirt flowing in the air, you know, with a gold chain on, and I'm like, this is a superhero. I want to be this guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's what made sense to me.
Yeah.
So, you know, the street guys were cool, but I'm like, this is who I want to be.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in the streets. I'm trying to be where this guy's at. So I just, then you see like people like making fun of Puff Daddy, saying, oh, he's not really a rapper. He's not this. He's not
singers
street.
can't fight.
Yeah. But I'm just like, but what's the point? You know, why are we glamorizing this? You know, like the white kids are trying to be hardcore.
Yeah.
You know, the black kids are like, you know, you have the swaggy black kids I went to school with from good families who were just chilling, making their thing. But I see the hardcore white kids, and then I'd be called like, oh, you're not really that black. You're not really that black though. Why? Because you ain't, you know, your mom out here picking out your clothes. You're not street. You're not wearing the street stuff. You know what I'm saying? You're not. Where your Timbs?
That's crazy.
Yeah. Where you bag your pants at? My mom won't let me sag my pants. What do you mean your mom won't let you sag your pants? You know what I'm saying?
My mom said no.
You know, my mom said no. You know, she picks up my shirt. You know, but it was like that was the story. Like I had to show like a level of like streets level poverty-ish, like cool street level, to be like accepted as black.
Yeah.
And I was like, which
is insane.
Wild.
It's insane.
You know? And that's the reality of things, you know? Like, and then
because black doesn't automatically mean ghetto. I just wanted to say that black doesn't automatically mean poverty. There is like a US, like, we already know about the States.
Yeah.
We're not gonna. We don't have enough time for that. But what I will say is that like we're coming into this place where everybody's got a smartphone, everybody's got a camera, everybody's got a mic. Stop looking at me like that. I know I'm in front of a mic and a camera. What I'm trying to say though is that a lot of people are sharing the opinions and kind of like, you know, there's not always a perfect direction. We do get caught into rabbit holes on the internet that if you click on one thing, clickbait is right there waiting for you to click on that next thing. And when we're talking about even like just stop acting black when it comes to girls who have, you know, the way that they talk and their hair and how they are acting, it's interesting because there's women who have accents from the ghettos of the States that I don't have, just as a Canadian West Coast, you know, accent. And so I'd be less black than them, even though they're white. And they're speaking with certain things that's just how they talk. Yeah. It's down south, like, you know what I mean? And so I realized that ghetto-ness is for some reason being tied right to being black or not being black enough sometimes, but also being tied to how tough you are. And I want people to understand that like toughness isn't only tied to how ghetto you have, you know, your past and how ghetto that you can be, you know what I'm saying? It's not only about being hood. Endurance is found in, people who have gone through pressure, whether or not it's, exterior pressure from the environment you're in, or the pressure you put under yourself to succeed, or the pressure your parents are putting on you. Either way, pressure makes diamonds. And so I'm no less of value, or you are no less of value as a man or as a Black individual because of a lack of ghetto.
No, you make it though. That's a valid point. But the problem is like I said, it's so ingrained in our vernacular that we're just, it's Blackness has to be seen with a type of struggle.
Yeah.
I'm like, why do I have to struggle to be considered Black? Why do I have to say like, and it's not like, it's not me saying like, I'm not dismissing the issues at all. I know this.
They're real.
They're real. Of course it's real. I've dealt with some of that stuff. But the thing is, but the thing is, the way I was raised is like, I can't, you'll have bad situations happen to you in your life, and there'll be racism here and racism there, but you can't allow that to define who you are as a person. And that's my issue, where it's like, we still try to define some type of like level of low education. Because remember, you have to sound cool, you have to sound dumb. You know what I'm saying? You had to be a rapper. You had to be, it was me and my mom, my cousins in the kitchen sleeping on bunk beds. It's like you have to rap like that. We were all selling crack in the corner. It's
that's
like
the rap. Can I say, you mentioned your favorite rappers? Can I say that my first favorite rapper was Kanye West, and it changed my mind a lot.
Yeah.
I started memorizing I don't know if anybody remembers HMV. I would go to HMV, I'd buy the CDs, you know what I'm saying? Pop that in the player, go ham. I felt like Kanye's music wasn't all about just kind of like drugs and being hardcore. And I felt like I really related, especially because aspects of me were like religious at times, and I didn't see a lot of that in like rap. And so when Jesus Walks came out, I was like, wow, like this is really good, and especially being in like Kitchener, Ontario, there were not a lot of other kids very religious. And so I was like, okay, like, I can really relate to this. It made me feel more empowered to be like myself instead of trying to conform to some stereotype based on, my gender or whatever.
That's facts. No, Kanye for me is same with me. Kanye was like, I was like, as a Congolese kid growing up in the West, Kanye was like a godsend for me. He triggered like everything. Like he was like, I was coming back from college, things weren't working out, and then like I still just and he kind of gave me that battery map pack to be like, hey, you got to be yourself. And then being yourself was accepting your diversity as a black person, as an African. You're this, you're that. You didn't grow up with poverty. You didn't grow up with this. You struggled. Of course, we all have our own individual struggles, but your struggle was never, your identity was never linked to a struggle. And you spent your whole part of your life trying to be like, I remember I tried, I had bandanas back in the day, I had some blue bandanas, baggy pants, all that stuff. I'm just trying to be like, with the boots, like mean mugging, just trying to be, and I'm just like, and I'm like, and my mom was like,
picture it.
My mom was like, why are you sagging your pants? Why are you acting like we've been struggling in Brooklyn for years? I'm like,
your poor mother.
You know what I'm saying? And I go back to like a nice house with like a meal and everything. I'm just like, but and the guy was like, yo, that's not you, fam.
Yeah.
You're this. And that's one of the things like I wanted to I think bring up this anecdote about how because the best example of that is like for me is the need to use struggle as a way to define you as a black man or as a black person is the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That was for me the best example of that growing up because as a kid you're like, oh, Will is cool. He makes fun of Carlton. And then as you got older, you're like, yo, hold on a second. Carlton was legit.
Yeah.
Like Carlton had it all. I'm like, Will, listen, man, listen, you wasn't it.
Yeah.
Because it's like Carlton is, think about it. Carlton is the embodiment of what people want to attack as a black man. Oh, he's rich.
Nerd.
Oh, he talks
Sweater around the neck, talks proper.
talks talks white, they'll say. He's educated. No struggle. He's always, you never been in the kitchen with my mom's and the roaches, like none of that stuff. It was just, not to make fun of anybody who's been through that, because I understand that, but I'm just saying like that, like people were looking at Will as this is who I want to be.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but then you look at all the rappers, they're raising all their kids to be like Carlton.
Exactly.
So no one's raising
the
kids.
Contrast, right? How ironic is outwardly everybody's pretty much like, yo, be like this, but then they really don't want to be like that in their own personal real lives. like all the rappers out there, like even like the great basketball players, LeBron James, his kids are Carlton. You know what I'm saying? They're like all they know is like wealth and opulence, lavish lifestyle,
luxury. It's like, so it's like, because he would never. I don't want you to be back in the hood being chased after by hoodlums and everything else, and the cops. No, I want you to like live like a proper life and never have to think of yourself lesser than anybody else. And that's what Uncle Phil was teaching his son Carlton. And so that's why Carlton always had his chest, and that's why I like Carlton, because like when you make fun of it, the way he walks or his posture, but no, he always walked good posture. Look the man straight in the eyes. Strong handshake. Will would come in, hey, what's good, bro? And I'm just like, and my dad would, if I moved like, and I tried to move like Will with my family, I tried moving like Will back in the day, and that wasn't me.
They looked at you sideways.
Looked at my pops almost threw me out like jazz a couple times at the house, but like that wasn't me, because he's like, yo, I raised you.
Jazz gets thrown.
That was me. My dad was about to throw me out like jazz out there. You know what I'm saying? Coming in like, I like Will. He's like, what is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? I gave you, you know what I'm saying? You have this, you have that. I went through the struggle, so you don't have to go through it. So why are you still trying to like struggle? Why? Because those kids are saying you're not black enough because you don't struggle.
Yeah.
And that's
like,
that's so dangerous.
So cool, but it's dangerous because it's
so
brainwashing, because that's overall not ideal.
No.
That's when you start separating individuals, trying to make people seem like they need to be alone to be strong. But then it's like that family aspect that Carlton had with his sister and his mom and his dad in the house all together as a community, living in a lifestyle that's actually healthy for them, and having people to turn to when they're going through something is ideal and is what should be glorified and is what should be commended. And so it's really ironic the way that like socializing has kind of taken a turn for the worse in that way, because, and this kind of like makes me want to ask you these questions. Yeah. We're starting to hear things such as, high value men and alpha male. And I want to understand what these things are, because like internet goes crazy. Internet does whatever it wants. Like, I don't know what's real from what's not anymore. Like, give it to me straight.
Okay. So I think here's the issue with the internet, because internet is, you have too many opinions. Everybody has an opinion. So there'll be, and we're going to, and the algorithms will focus on like the loudest ones, and not focus on the nuanced ones, because you can't have a nuanced conversation online. You can't. It's just impossible. But from what I've learned and what I've studied, a high value man would be like somebody like my dad, or some of my siblings or some of my nephews, people who kind of just carry themselves a certain way. They move around, they put themselves in these rooms and these places, and they don't lower their standard of life. They always try to like push their standard of life and health. Yeah. And knowledge. That's a high value man. Somebody who's always kind of like growing and also, but it's like he's who tells themselves they're allowed to be in these spaces. You're allowed to be here. You don't need to.
You are worthy. They know they are worthy, and they're like confident in their own skin.
You don't have to be small to be here. You can be you and enter this space. That's for me is what I see as a high value man. Yeah. Who can kind of just stand there on his own, and you're like, wow, that's a man right there. So, you know, and also like protect and lead a family as well too, you know, and his people around him, taking care of his people around him as well too, you know. Looking out, you know, those are, you know, a high value man can also be like a good friend who's also like, who takes care of his family, but also like protects his friendships. You know, keeps his friends in check as well too. You know, he'll know when to call you out.
Yeah.
You know, that's like a high value character traits. You know, and then also
I like that.
Yeah, that's for me how I see it. You know, and then
so I do want to just say he never once mentioned high value men as only being millionaires or billionaires, and it's not only materialistic, basically, which I've seen kind of like the internet getting out of control, pretty much saying that a man's value is directly connected to how much money he makes, but that's not how you add value to your life.
No, you're not.
Or to others' lives as well.
Sure. Because I've some of my greatest mentors and teachers were not millionaires. You know, they were blue collar people, you know, humble, and they taught me how to move like a man. You know, they taught me how to move like a gentleman. Taught me how to, you know, be smart in my movements. You know, watch my friends.
Yeah.
You know, always be prepared. You know, they weren't high value, but they were preparing me for life.
For life.
Yeah. So that's high value to me. That's, and I think I said the internet sees, because now we're in this weird era of dollar signs. Everything has to have a value to it. Numbers. Yeah, I gotta be rich. He has to be this. He has to be, you know. And sometimes
it's not only that.
I've learned more from the regular blue collar folks about greatness than I've learned from the millionaires about greatness.
Yeah,
and that's a fact of life. I can by how many millionaires tell me about greatness? Like one, maybe like Denzel, you know. But he's not even but he's a high value man, because the thing about Denzel, his value isn't about his dollar amount.
Yeah,
his value is about his ability. You know, how he moves as a father and a man, and also how he teaches and empowers the next generation.
Exactly.
His value was never based on what he made. It was always based on all those other aspects of him.
And he molds the next generation as well.
Exactly.
To have that, you know, alpha male ability, because I feel like that alpha male doesn't only have to do with like your physical appearance or your aggression. I think being an alpha is exactly the chronological order that we're talking about. Yeah. Alpha, beta, delta. It just means being a leader. It is the leading, you know, in that chronological order. And being a leader can come from, you know, molding the next generation, not only your physical stature or your aggression. So thank you for answering that.
No problem. I've also, just to add to the alpha male thing, I think anybody can have an alpha male moment. Anybody can have that moment where it's like, all right, I got to take over now.
I've had,
alpha, just not an alpha male, it's alpha moments. Just like, you know, it's my time to take over. I got to take over. I got to take over. I got to take care of the family. I got to take the lead. It happens. Everybody goes through that. So it's not just about some multimillionaire with like, with a $500, you know, like outline hair and like, you know, a yacht, you know, like that doesn't do anything for you at all.
Yeah, it doesn't speak to your quality. It only speaks to your appearance, right?
That's it. You know, the evil people can be millionaires.
Yeah.
You know, like, what does that do? What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. We've seen some evil millionaires.
Exactly.
You know? So, no, I'm not going to mention them.
No.
I appreciate you for that. Thank you so much. And another thing that I wanted to, you know, so what is this whole calling men a simp thing? Because when I went on to the, you know, good old internet, like I said, the internet's always got things happening. I saw a couple different ways of spelling it. The first way of spelling it was SIMP, and it was in direct correlation with the word simpleton. And then the second way that I saw it spelt and frequently used on the internet was SYMP, which was a short form for sympathy, which was referring to men who are too sympathetic. But I've always I haven't necessarily thought of sympathy as a bad thing. I've also not thought of being simple, because when things aren't complicated, as a bad thing either. But simpleton is more like someone being foolish. And I'm really trying to wrap my head around, like, number one, calling a man a simp Like, why? Where does this come from? Why are we calling men simps? But also, when you're making connections online, what's being portrayed to people who are on the internet is they're probably thinking like, whenever they're being sympathetic, that they should refrain from being that way because then they'll be called a simp. But I don't want to perpetuate that. So that's why I'm like, I need to pick this apart, you know?
Yeah. No, I think simp, we talked about the Carlton example.
Mm-hmm.
He's what people would call a simp,
Yeah.
you know, to a certain degree, but it's weird because he's already established. He's got this, he's got that. He's got an Ivy League education.
Yeah.
And he's got all these stature of like, of a man of certain value, but he's a simp because he doesn't he's a sucker in love. He'll fall for any girl, or he's looking for love. You know, usually they'll use a simp for like a guy who's a sucker for love. You know, he'll fall in love easily. He'll be a walking doormat to whatever partner he meets. You know, and I'm like, I feel like that's unfair. That's unfair because.
Well, can I say, like, if I was a girl who had those, you know, characteristics, like, would you call a girl a simp for being a sucker for love or having those looking for love, or like, because I just feel like it's being used on dudes.
Yeah, no, it is because like I said, it's because we're supposed to portray a certain form of stone character, you know, masculinity to it, but it's like I don't know about. I think there's probably a term for women, but I can't find it. But I know for men, it's like, oh, why are you simping for her? Why are you simping for her? Why are you doing whatever why are you being her doormat? Why are you? Yeah. It's kind of, and sometimes it does happen in a toxic way where it's like he gets walked all over or he doesn't
taken advantage of.
Exactly, and that's where that usually comes from. Yeah, is being taken advantage of. But then also there's times where it's like, oh, he praises women too much. He praises women too much. I'm just like, okay, yeah, like hold up, you know, we can't, you know, that, you know, he's too sympathetic to women, you know, or something like that, and that's kind of like.
But the majority of us have like moms and sisters, exactly. And some of us have daughters, and
see the contradiction. So if I have a daughter, I can't be a simp to my daughter. I can't be a simp to my wife. I can't be a, you know, but it's like, I think you can have, you're supposed to have sympathy for those people, you know, in your life. But I think at the same time, it's like, it has to be, like, I think it's mostly meant for the extreme cases, I guess.
Where they're being taken advantage of.
Where exactly.
Or sorry, bleep it out. P, bleep, 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 Y, pussy whipped.
Yeah, that's simping.
Like, that's like
that's
simping. Like, those men, like, and to be honest, like, the reason why I'm like really glad that you were defining it in that way and explaining it in that way is because if I saw a woman being whipped or pretty much manipulated, taken advantage of, I would be like, let me help her out. I wouldn't automatically go to bullying her and calling her a simp or whatever. And so I feel like there's not enough empathy for men. And also I want to let people know that abusive relationships don't only appear from men to women. There are abusive women in this world, and toxic femininity will tell you that it doesn't exist. But there are men who are not only mentally, emotionally, financially, but also physically abused. And they're not given the same courtesies as women. And that in itself is a lack of equality. It's toxic masculinity and femininity for us to bully them in response to them being taken advantage of, or potentially there might be abuse happening behind closed doors and we're calling them a simp instead of offering them resources, a helping hand, or even just a shoulder to come and talk to you about, you know,
I think it's also
that safe space.
But you know what it is as well too. It's also for men, I think for people in general, it should be like, the people you keep around you, you know, because I have a very small circle. I have a very like, you know, it comes in like different like phases, but it's like different walls, and like whoever gets deep into a certain wall is like, you know, like I have a very, very tight circle, and that's how I like to keep it, because those tight circles is where I know I can go to like have my moment of vent where I can be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I won't be like judged or picked apart or, oh, look at this guy's being weak. It's like I can have that moment and then go out with strength afterwards because I just healed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm always saying. Like, and my mom always said, like, keep your circle tight.
Yeah.
Make sure who you have around you. Make sure, she always says, watch out. So my mom, your parents will always say, watch out for your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Watch out for your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then you
heard it.
But we're like, you don't know what you're talking. Yeah, yo, you old, fam.
That's good.
You
She
old,
good. Yo. And then they'll steal your wallet. Like, it's just
yeah, exactly. So,
Sorry,
but it's what in French the saying, mieux d'être seul que d'être mal accompagné. So it means like it's better to be alone than surrounded with bad company.
Yeah.
So that's where I kind of get my energy from. Where I'm just like, if you don't see me much, I just keep
it pure.
I keep it pure, and I just hang around with like here and there, and that's really it. I don't go to like big events. I don't do that. I don't try to make everybody a friend. I make I'm respectful acquaintances, and we build from there, and then we'll see where that goes. Yeah, I go through like a vetting process with me.
Very important.
Very important. So it's but that's the key. It's like, but this, like I said, for like being called a simp and all that stuff, that's more of an out. That's for everybody else in the outdoor world. But like, it's who your friends on the inside. Because the worst part is when it's your close friends calling you a simp. Because now you're alone. Now as a man, you're alone. Who do I turn to if I'm going through this emotional thing? Because can't go to therapy. Because if we go to therapy, we look crazy. But now we're in a society where therapy is being more accepted, but there's still that kind of like
stigmatism.
So and some people can't afford therapy.
Yeah.
So it's good to have a circle where it's
free.
It's not free, but it's good to have a circle where it's like, oh, you good, my G? You good? What's going on? Oh, no. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
She did what? You gotta let it go.
You have to have those brother-like people around you. Like,
exactly. It's love. And I'm very, for me, it's like, because I've always looked for that.
Yeah.
A pack. Like you can't. I think there's also another thing for men is like we need our pack, our wolf pack, I guess.
Yeah.
Of like just like
people.
Our soldiers, our solid people, just to be with us.
And just like that being said as well, like that isn't only men for Steven.
No.
Steven has genuinely good friends that are part of the pack, that are girls. And so I just don't want myself and to forget you could talk to me about anything anytime. Yeah. So, like, of course, the community is really important.
It is very
no matter
important.
How it looks.
Very important. The quality of people you hang around with. And like, we're social creatures. And we have to stop this. And this is where it adds to like the stressor of masculinity. Because you have to be like this solo dolo kind of person, you don't need nobody, just squinty eyed.
My shirt says run more than your mouth. Literally, like this is on a shirt. It's like if I'm like good enough at sports, I shouldn't be talking as much. Pretty much. But it's like we should be able to talk.
We should be able to talk. But I said it depends on the people you keep around you. And that's why I'm always saying, like, I've seen crews where like there's one guy who's kind of toxic out here, I'm messing up somebody else's vibe, and because they're too sympathetic. See, another part of simping. Simping isn't just for the women. Simping could be like, why are you keeping this toxic guy around you, fam? This guy's just using you. This guy's like, simping can be that as well too.
Huh.
There's levels to this.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm always saying, like, it's always more nuanced than we like to think it is.
Yeah. Because it's layered, especially like when you get down into how you start to think and how you start to act. Like when you're starting to make decisions based off of whether or not somebody's going to call you a simp, that means that it's affecting your life, your choices, your actual direction in which you are going. And so it needs to be an environment where people can feel free to like be as masculine or as feminine or vulnerable or tough as they want to be in any moment without judgment. Yeah. And obviously the whole world isn't going to be like that. There's always going to be a layer of societal norms and people looking at you being like, hey man, like you can't just go around murdering people because that's wrong and stuff. And those people are right. So listen to them, you know? But when it comes to giving that like genuine, unconditional layer of allowing people to be themselves, we need to allow them to be however they want to be. Even if a dude is crying in front of you, girls, stop telling men not to cry or making fun of men who cry behind their backs. I know it happens. We gotta, you know, be the kind of people who are actually encouraging all of us to have that safe space to shed a tear and be our authentic selves. So yeah, I wanted to say something, and I really hope I don't mess it up. My fingers are crossed.
Yeah.
But it's a bit of a takeaway message. And so before I say that, is there anything else?
No, I was fun conversation.
Okay.
No, I appreciate the invite.
I'm glad.
You know,
Glad to have you too.
Yeah, hopefully, I dropped some gems up in there.
Yeah, man. I told them, grab their pens and paper. I wasn't playing. I was serious. You know?
I was watching this podcast called The Pivot. And it's like these former athletes. And then they have this show where like, you know, you had these conversations with like men, which actually it's amazing. I think they were from another show. And it was this really intimate conversation where like men would just kind of come there and they talk about relationships and marriage and finance and all these things that we didn't learn growing up. And these are shows I wish I saw when I was like a kid.
If
to
only.
To be like, wow, and this is how you move. This emotional intelligence from grown men.
Yeah.
So it was very inspiring. So they brought Omari Hardwick. He's Hardwick. He plays Ghost in the series Power, legendary series Power, and a legendary
very good
character. You know, he's one of those characters that every actor would wish they had on a resume.
Yeah.
You know, that's like the Scarface, Denzel's
big role.
Big roles, you know what I'm saying? Denzel's Training Day. But he was talking about something very important about like him growing up and having to portray this like masculine, almost like the embodiment of like the ideal black male to like even for me, I'm like, wow, this is who I want to be. I want to be Ghost. I want to move, you know, like everybody I met, even the white guys, where anybody was just like, I want to be like Ghost.
Yeah.
Like everybody wanted to be this guy.
Yeah.
You know, and still do, because he embodied this character so well.
Yeah.
And then he talked about how, and I think they mentioned about, so you're, you know, you being like a poet, this and that, and also like married, you know, and then people wanting you to be this representation of this character, but also you're married to a white woman in real life. How did you feel like now you're growing in stature and people are seeing more about your personal life? You know, how and now they're like, oh, he's married to a white woman. Blah, blah. And he said something that was really that really touched me. And he was talking about how back in high school he used to write poetry, you know, and then he would sit there on the cafeteria, because he was from the South. He was sitting like in the cafeteria, and it'd be like a sections, you know, black section and like Latino section and all this kind of sections, the white sections. And then one day he just had this moment where he says like he just got up and started walking around the cafeteria. Just walking around, sitting different tables.
Wow.
And he's just like, hey, yo, hold on a second. I ain't got no barriers.
Yeah.
There's no barriers for me. Like he's like, yeah, I can move freely.
Yeah.
You know? And then he says something like, after that, he's like, before I'm a black man, I'm a child of God. Before I'm a black man, I'm a child of God.
Yeah.
Because we're all children of God. You know, or creator or whatever domination you follow. But, you know, we're all children of God first before anything else. And we always forget that. You know, and then he's like, and then he understands like there's a possessiveness that comes from like black culture. Because when it's like one of ours, he's like, oh yeah, he's ours, so he can't be married to that. Woman. He can't be, but he's like, no. That's not for you. That's for me.
Yeah.
That's not for the black culture. That relationship is for me.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm for you. You want me over here and this and this? That's no problem. But that's for me.
Yeah.
And she makes me better. If she makes me better, I'll go there and make you better.
Yeah.
You know, and that because he found like a solid woman to raise his kids with, and who was sturdy, who was sturdy, and he was just
love doesn't have race.
Exactly, and he was just like, but he kept telling him, that's for me. She's for me. That relationship is for me. It's not for you. It's for me. But when I'm over there, but then she makes me better and stronger. So when I'm over there with you, we're all better and stronger. So I add value to who we are.
I like that.
And I was like, yeah. And that's that was the beauty of it, because I said there's so many times you see like, you know, they'll be like, oh, he's dating, he's with a Latina, he's over, but I'm like, why? But then you assume he hates.
Nothing to do with you.
It's nothing to do with you. It's about him.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing about, you know, in a way, another form of toxicity where it's like possessiveness, where it's like, why can't he
to race?
Yeah, but why can't he just be him, or her can be? Why can't they just move the way they want to move freely?
Mm-hmm.
And why is it that we have to be blocked by our own people in the process? And that was something I learned more seeing it from the American point of view, because I didn't really see it coming from the Congo and the African culture I grew up with. We didn't really see that. We never saw that, because I had uncles, we had, you know, white girlfriends, you know, Latino wives. It's like, it wasn't like they weren't dismissive of black women. It was just, I met her, we found love. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Like, hey, I'll wait until I see the black version of you, and then no, it's just it happened to be you.
Yeah.
So it's and it's like, it also made me think about like why sometimes we, you know, it's especially as black men, we struggle with love because we have those expectations already established for us. You got to be this, and this to be considered a black man. So if you want to be a black man, marry a white woman. You got to marry a black woman. You got to marry this. You got to do this. You got to move like this. You can't wear. You got to wear this. You got to wear this. You got to. And it's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just trying to
be me.
be me. You know, but you can't have that though. You know, and that's
I'm
why.
Glad you shared that.
Yeah, and that's why I think that's why you have like Kanye was so impactful, because he was somebody who was like, hey, I get the rules. I love y'all, but I'm doing my thing. And then you got Childish Gambino. Hey, I hear Black Twitter.
Childish Gambino.
You love that guy? Hey, I'm gonna do my thing.
Yeah.
Carlton, I'm gonna do my thing.
Yeah.
You know? And so that's what I love about it. You know, Carlton was doing the dance, and they're like, he's not. I'm like, Carlton is black as he gets.
He's literally born black.
You know? I love Tom Jones because of Carlton. You know? Like,
trust me.
Yeah, but it's just another thought I was having when I came up with that one. I'm just like, yeah, like why can't we just to navigate this world? We already get so much resistance everywhere else. You know, and I'm not trying to victimize or use victimization, but I'm saying there are
elements we can't control. We shouldn't.
But the fact that within our people, we should be allowed to just wander around. You know, Michael B. Jordan should be allowed to date who he wants without having to be like attacked.
Forced attacked.
Well, you know, like Serena can marry who she wants. You know, it's
free feels good. Pretty much.
Feels
That's
good.
the point. Is free feels good.
Yeah,
so
you know,
just be free.
Be free. Be black. Be beautiful. Be you. You know, that's it.
Thank you for sharing that. Okay, I'm gonna try to say it. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. You playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking yourself so that others can feel big around you. We were all meant to shine as children do. And that's as far as I remember, but it touches on the fact that we are children of God. So yeah, we're made in his likeness and meant to shine. So no matter what the world is telling you is the right version of masculine or feminine, just shine in every room you enter. And remember, freedom feels good. That being said, I'm going to put you on the spot. If you have a great song that you'd like to share as the song suggestion of the week, I'm going to do a drum roll.
I think the song of the week for me is, you know what? Love Supreme by John Coltrane.
Okay, so you hear that? Love Supreme by John Coltrane. Yeah. Check it out. Like, comment, subscribe. Links are below. Follow us on any platform at Keyosha333 or
Steven with 3 E's, STEEVEN _K.
All right. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. It was a pleasure.